bringing you with a sit down one today with my man Grant. What's the title again, Grant? What's your...
My one. Fitness rehabilitation coach, well, functional rehabilitation coach. Yeah.
Sick title. So yeah, basically today's video is going to be about lower back pain. I had a few questions, a lot of them, some a little bit more specific, a lot of them pretty broad, but we'll include some exercises and stuff like that, and things that maybe you can do to improve your lower back pain and your mobility and stuff like that. We're going in with the first one from Chris Tumbas. Techniques for improving lower back pain.
With lower back pain, it's not about techniques, and it's more about the functionality of your core, and it's more about the functionality of your glutes. So when you approach the topic of lower back pain, you're basically looking at trunk work and core stability. That's all you're looking at. If those things aren't functioning correctly, you will suffer from lower back pain. If you want to reduce lower back pain, stop sitting down as much. It's as simple as that. If you're sitting down too much, your posterior chain becomes weak, so your lower back all the way down to your feet is highly interconnected. And with the amount that people sit down these days, it becomes weaker and weaker, especially the glutes. So the best thing you can do is get your glutes active, get your core active before you do any other exercises.
We go on from Morgan Izzard. My injury is a bulging disc between the L5 and the S1 vertebrae. Any recommendations?
Tough one. So specific. I would look at light mobility work for starters. The thing is, because bulging discs can they can come back in essentially, and it's a thing over time. It's not something that someone will do for you. It's just something that will happen over time. Bulging discs are not permanent, but they can be. Again, kind of previously what I said, you're looking at core functionality, glute activation, because you're looking for support essentially. But I would look at basic stuff like you can look at this on Google, on YouTube, like stuff like cat camels. Thoracic mobility, lumbar mobility, anything like that that basically gets your spine lightly moving, like even just like standing doing pelvic tilts, can be really helpful just to reduce any kind of back pain, even if it's at the midsection. It just gets that core function to support the rest of your body, so there's not as much weight bearing along the spine.
I guess this one's similar from Hitch. Lower back pain avoidance. How or best way to go about preventing?
Hitch boy. Best way to
Hitch boy.
I mean, well, again, I'm kind of repeating myself. Again, it comes down to how much you sit down primarily. Like, again, you have to think historically that people haven't sat down as much as we do now. Like, how often do you go home? You know, you sat in the car, you sat on a train, you go home and you eat your food, you sit down, you know, straight after your food, you go watch TV. You need to reduce the amount you're doing that. If you do desk jobs specifically, the amount of people who have desk jobs and have back pain, but in regards to like techniques to avoid lower back pain, the most important thing to think of with every exercise you do is not the movement that hurts your back, it's the way you're doing it.
Yeah. That's
paramount. Like the amount of people who go, oh, I don't do deadlifts, I don't do squats because it hurts my back. It's like, no, it's the way you're doing them. You know, and if your core isn't bracing, your glutes aren't firing, or your lumbar, for example, if you do like a deadlift, right, and you have the bars away from your legs, like your lumbar's naturally thicker and wider to support lifts. It's designed that way. But then if you're imagine that's your lumbar there, that's where the lumbar starts. The bar needs to be directly in line with it.
Yeah.
Right? However, a lot of people have it about here. And so this isn't functioning as it should. And the weight bearing is about here instead. So it's just basically thinking about how you're moving, and there's no harm in dropping weight and you know.
I guess that's the problem as well, is that people try to load the weight too much.
Yeah, ego lifting, and you'll get better results by lifting correctly, and rather being like, oh, just do 200k deadlift. It's like, yeah, but your back's like that. It's like a bloody butcher's hook.
Yeah. So we go on from Nadia: improving pelvic flexibility and working with a pelvic tilt, rehab and injury avoidance that also ties into lower back.
It's a good question actually, because most people just presume that the lower back pain is caused by the lower back. If your hip mobility is poor, I think that's what you mean by pelvic mobility or flexibility. If your hips are I hate the word tight because it's not really a thing, it's overactive or underactive. And as I always say, they cause pain in the exact same way. You see it with guys who are bodybuilders that they have the shoulders are rounded here, and they're like, oh yeah, my shoulders always really hurt. It's like, yeah, because all you do is push motions. All you do, and then they'll end up with neck pain because their back's weak. So it's the same kind of thing. Like if you're not used to being in some positions, if you're not used to doing particular movements, it's going to cause you pain.
Yeah.
So for the pelvic tilt, you just literally need to tilt your pelvis regularly. So look at movements that tilt your pelvis. Squats is a really good it's a hip drive motion, so it's a really good foundation to get hips stronger. So I wouldn't say it's a flexibility issue. Like, it's more about either strengthening or the actual mobility of the pelvis. But like, you will find that people who have like poor hip mobility tend to have lower back pain. So you have like there's a muscle called the ilius. I can never pronounce it correctly. But it runs essentially from the front here and runs back through there.
Yeah.
And if that's in any way impinged, it'll cause extreme back pain.
Yeah.
But again, that's just, you have to like strengthen your hips. There's easy methods to kind of fix that.
Yeah. So we go on from Josh Harley. Yeah, generally have dodgy and clicky hips. Anything to do with mobility and hip flexibility.
So it's very, very common. It's genuinely called clicking hip syndrome, and it's not a thing that you have to worry about. It's more so that it's just, you do it, it's a bit annoying, and you feel it catch in a weird way. I get it sometimes, and very often it's just the positioning of your lower back primarily. So you can do movements like, surely everyone would know this, well hopefully they know this by now, is dead bugs. And it's that movement, as long as you're pressing your lower back in, you'll find that the clicking hip syndrome will reduce.
Yeah.
And it's also about the range of, and it can kind of come down to the weight of your leg as well, when you push your leg out in a certain way. But I mean, it depends on when he's receiving that click. If he's receiving clicks in like squats and deadlifts or anything else like that, then I'd see a position about that. However, if it's just like floor work and stuff like that, then it's most likely just standard clicking hip syndrome, nothing to worry about.
And then the last one was just sciatica via having tight hips.
Sciatica is caused by the sciatic nerve. It's not directly related to the hip. It's hard to kind of explain really, but it's something you can release manually. And we can go over how to do that, but there's a really good sciatic stretch. It's a seated sciatic stretch, and it's simply just, you basically raise your leg up and lean over. That's all it is. You stretch your leg out and lean over, and that reduces sciatic nerve. At least, I think it's something like they had about 30 different cases, and it was like 60% of people just, basically found that they didn't suffer in future just by doing that stretch regularly.
Yeah.
But I would, again, it's just about mobility. Again, if you're not used to being in certain positions, you're gonna feel pain. And the reason why we have like all these conditions we have now, these weren't a thing of the past. Like in like 1950s and stuff like that. These weren't conditions. These are just because of the way we live now.
Like, would you say it literally all comes down to maybe not warming up correctly before training,
100%.
not moving enough?
100%. For example, if you play guitar, right? If you say 1 year you play guitar all year, you're absolutely shredding, you play an Iron Maiden, you're playing all your favourite songs, right? And you don't pick it up for another 5 years. Are you seriously going to think you're going to be able to do it as well as we did before? Sorry, Siri's popping off here. Yeah, so you're not going to be able to perform as well.
Yeah.
And your fingers are going to hurt. Do you know what I mean? Like when you play it, like it's a simple thing of just getting your body used to it. Like human bodies is an incredible thing in which we adapt to the stresses we get put under, and that's exactly what training is. You're allowing yourself to kind of be sedentary and not moving. Yeah, you're going to get hurt.
Obviously, Grant knows his stuff. We're down here at the International Pool. There's a good facility down here. He's got some good services. We've been doing the classes with Dragon Pro, the group classes, group conditioning and stuff like that. And that's like a lot of the trainees that come on leaps and bounds really.
Massively.
It's starting now. Just like understanding their body and understanding like how they're meant to move and stuff. So he knows his stuff. Get in touch with him. Get involved. If you've got like back pain, we're gonna do a couple more videos. We'll do one on I think it's shoulder pain as well, and like.
So we've got a few things.
Yeah, we got like stuff with the upper body and then stuff with the lower body with your knees and stuff. So we got some cool videos coming in. Just get in touch with Grant. What's your email?
grant.s.wood@hotmail.com. Again, guys, as much as I can kind of say, right, this is what you should do for back pain, until I've seen you move and all that, it's hard to kind of analyze what you should be doing. Because, for example, some people need more mobility, some people need more activation, some people need like technique improvement. So it's these are kind of generic answers that I'm giving you. However, they're a good basis to get going. But ideally, if you are really concerned about it, just come down and see me. It's free of charge. I'll give you the first session for free, and then we'll see how you feel after the session, and then hopefully maybe something you'll think about picking up.
Well, cheers, Grant. Thank you for today.
Pleasure.
Let me know in the comments down below what you thought of the video. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.
Is there like a button to like subscribe?
Yeah.
Where is it?
I'll put like a little end screen now and then. Click it, guys. Subscribe. Subscribe.